Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Supergirl, 2026, Craig Gillespie. On her birthday, Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, decides to go on a bender to celebrate, taking her trusted companion Krypto along for the ride. While drowning herself in booze, a little girl by the name of Rufy comes into the bar seeking someone to help her slay the man who killed her father, a ruthless mercenary by the name of Krem. A hungover Supergirl initially tells her to beat it the morning after when Rufy starts pestering her. However, all that changes when Krem shoots Krypto with a dart full of poison. Now with 3 days to save her dog, Supergirl and Rufy must track down Krem before it is too late. Cape Shit was on the menu that evening, and Cape Shit was for sure what I got. Let's get into this one. There were very few notable aspects about the filmmaking here under director Craig Gillespie. What notable aspects to the filmmaking there were, kind of weren't good though. For some reason, DP Rob Hardy had this fucking hard-on for lens flare and super contrasted backlighting, which absolutely bothered my eyes. When the lighting wasn't bland as fuck, it was horribly grating, and it was a headache. I can't remember if Superman was like that, but if it did have those moments, it wasn't as egregious as this. It didn't help that the action in this film was as bland as could be and did nothing interesting in terms of editing. Tatiana Regal and Fred Raskin just slapped together a bunch of effects shots and used tacky slow motion most of the time. This then leads to production design, which was fine, I guess. The costumes were okay. The special effects themselves weren't too horrible. It was perfectly acceptable, I suppose. Lobo looked cool, I guess. Krem also had a neat look with all those metal piercings covering his skull, but it was pretty much what I come to expect from these big budget movies. There's nothing more to report there. The original score by Claudia Same was a complete non-factor in this film. It barely registered to me and had nothing worth talking about. That licensed soundtrack, though, really was something. In terms of genre and tone, the use of alternative rock and more poppier music fit the character of Supergirl. It's the sort of stuff that a 20-something blonde girl with an attitude problem might be listening to. But my god, during the last action scene, they used this shit pop trailer music cover of Jimmy Eat World's The Middle, and I nearly started cackling in the theater. Holy shit, who thought that was a good idea? It had no business being used in a scene like that. It was used in a giant action scene. What the fuck? Writing-wise, this was about as predictable a script as it could be. It blends right into that 2010s Cape Shit jungle so seamlessly that if I had seen it then, I probably would have given it a pass. It hit every boilerplate beat one of those movies would, including the second act breakup with the main character and the kid. What made it worse was the film just dragged on for longer than needed. Even at an hour 48, this film could have shaved 10 to 15 minutes off the top. I was happy to see David Cornsweet as Superman again, but those flashbacks could have been wholesale cut or trimmed down really easily. To concede some flowers to the film, I didn't mind Supergirl as a character. Millie Alcock was charming in the role, and her killing the bad guy to spare the kid a life of guilt and regret was pretty based. The entire cast were doing their job and working with what they were given. Jason Momoa seemed to be having fun as Lobo. Matthias Schoenaerts, I'm not even going to try that again. He seemed to be having fun as generic space mercenary man, Krem, whatever. Plus, his look was at least memorable, so there's that. Anyways, yeah, this was just kind of a nothing-ass movie. But the older I get, the less I tolerate nothing-ass movies. The blandness of Supergirl is made worse by its more obvious faults in the direction, and it really sticks out as a sore thumb in James Gunn's DC universe. Even Millie Alcock being charming and Jason Momoa's brief but memorable stint as Lobo couldn't save this. Like, if you like the cape shit, then maybe you'll get more out of this than me. Like, but otherwise, you can miss it. And I am feeling a 4 to a 4.5 out of 10 on this one. I think it's maybe a little closer to a 4.5 than it is a 4, if that means anything. Catch you later, guys.